Alrighty, we are. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Rob. I am going to be painting up tonight some Ultramarines, Renegades. So essentially, the idea is for this next project that I'm working on, another Chaos Space Marine army. That will mean that I will have an Iron Warriors Chaos Space Marine army, a Grey Knight, an Ultramarines, just Ultramarine army already sitting over there ready to go. A green generic Space Marine army. Maybe you could say Raptors. They're a little bit too Mountain Dew to be Raptors. If I'm being honest, they were meant to be the Doom guy. So I've got like 5 different Space Marine armies, but this one shall be the coolest. So if you take a look here, got them all magnetized, so they're on a little tray. We can see, you know what I have to do, folks? Let me turn that off. I need to go check the other computer, make sure the sound sounds good. Be right back. Take a look at these. Sound off in the comments. If you're painting something tonight, or leave a comment and say what you painted while you watch this video. That'd be cool. Check out the really like check it out. I also really like it's kind of like command row pose. Oh, too far. Well, like boom. Be right back. Rich here. Rich joining us. I have no idea if Rich is joining us tonight. Anyway, let's get things started. I am going to be painting up some bikes because these guys are basically done. I'm going to show them each off though, one at a time, before we really kick things off. I've got your so what these are, if you're curious, if you're like, oh, look at these Space Marines. They seem like maybe more well proportioned than a Space Marine might be. Check out the under shading. You really go from magenta all the way up to teal with this model. Anyway, I'm doing the old school color scheme with the red bolters and the yellow. There's no metallics except a light dry brush of metal over the gray. And I think it comes out really nice for how simple it is. Here's Meltagun guy, because what I am running these as is Huron's Renegades. Here's my idea for the fluff of the army. There was a 4th edition Space Marine list, Ultramarines, best of the best, the most modern of the modern. They jumped into the warp and they got lost, Samurai Jack style. And when they emerged in 11th edition, you know, they're outdated, they're outclassed, they're not primary. But my hope is I'm going to create like a super, like this is their first battle turning traitor where they just turn their weapons. One thing that I've done is wearing the studded shoulder pad is kind of a secretive way you can choose to no longer show your Space Marine heraldry. So the way I figure it is before turning, the members of this diaspora from the Space Marine chapter, they are like replaced with stuff.
Up, Robbie.
Hey, Rich, what's up, man?
Did you start early?
I was just getting sound and stuff ready. If you can see, we have some viewers because my other computers are watching. Making sure the sound's good and everything like that. You want to test your board? There you go. Ooh, looking good. Is that the oils, Rich?
Yep, that's the oils.
Cool. Are the oils from last week still usable?
No, I cleaned them off. I'm trying to adjust the camera so we don't get that same
tracking
thing.
Strange effect. I gotta tell you, switching to these golden paints, switching to the wet palette, it's been pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I almost feel kind of foolish for having bought GW paints for the past 20 years.
No, everybody has.
Well, I'm like, yeah, but I could have spent $200 one time.
Yeah.
One time, Rich. And also, if I'd been learning on these paints that whole time, like, think about the mastery you'll develop over the years of just these paints.
Yeah, it's your color.
My Zorn palette.
Well, Zorn palette, whatever it is.
Oh, it would be called, like, I don't know, the Robbie palette. It's really just the palette you sent me, plus Hooker Green and Payne's Gray, because I really like the look of it. It's just a nice looking color.
Payne's is a cool color, yeah.
It's just, and you know what? It feels very Arbites.
Right.
It's like a real nice color for them. You know what I mean? I don't know. I really like it. You know what's the coolest part about using these paints, though? If I go into art stores now, or I've been buying a lot of books because I think basically generative AI is probably going to destroy all information on the internet eventually, just because there will be so much more generated content than there is human-made content.
Yeah, it's going to fill up the
books and stuff. And you know what's the cool part about using these paints? I get to buy an art book, and it'll be like an art book on like Payne's Gray. And it'll say, here's all the things people have done throughout history with Payne's Gray. And they'll show all these different works of arts and tell you exactly how to make them. It's cool. All right. Let's get this water. Oh, you know what I got to do? I got to... I now have one paint cup that's dirty water and one paint cup that is literally bottled water. Use with them. Someone said that was necessary. I don't know if that's true, but I'm trying.
What's that?
Using bottled water.
Yeah.
Using
distilled is what you want. Distilled water does make a difference.
Yeah, this isn't distilled, so this wouldn't work. So I got to order distilled water. But whatever. I'm going to use this for now because I don't
make it yourself, too.
What's that?
I said, or you can make it yourself.
What do you just put like a filter and then pour the water in?
No, you boil it.
Oh, okay.
There's more to it than that. It's like making whiskey. You have to distill it.
Where are my heavy magnets? I'm going to switch it over to my idea.
Yeah.
Your camera stuff. So everybody, I am setting up my wet palette here. If you're curious how using a wet palette can look, saturated with water. There's water up to the sponge line. I try to clean the sponge daily. It's probably a potential mold space, but we don't need to worry about that much in Arizona. Anyway, we're just getting this all straightened out, and I got this big heavy magnet here to get these creases out of the way, just because I think it looks nice. I like having like a clean, pristine palette to start, and then it gets crazy. Rich, how was your week?
Good. Not too bad. Been waiting for this oil paint to dry. That has not happened. I need to go later. I've been putting giants together. I now have, let's see, 3, 4, 5. I have 7 giants, I think, put together.
Giants is a smart army, I feel like, to do with oil paints, because you could probably, number one, get the skin really good.
Yeah.
Really good. Number two, you've got 4 models to paint.
Yep.
That's the whole army. So that's nice.
I'm trying to get this camera situated here.
You want to rewatch Community? Just did the D&D episode, the first one. Great episode.
Was that it? No.
Yeah.
I was really struck watching that episode.
Which one?
The D&D one. I was like, you know what? Other than a few things, this feels like real D&D with newbies. You know, like the questions they ask are very real if you've taught a lot of people how to play. And
Yeah, it's really a good, if you want to teach somebody D&D, it's really a good one.
yeah, it's a nice thing to show someone, to be like, hey, this is what good D&D feels like. It's not exactly like this. You're gonna roll. The DM's not gonna roll. Stuff like that. But like, you know, it'd be fun. So I'm doing a little bit of dry brushing here. Get stuff out of the way. Just going over these rattling grimed guns, and I am hitting it with a little bit of dark metal paint. So I like dry brush. All of these guns are mostly going to have red casing added to them, so it's not that big of a deal here. That's why I'm just doing dry brushing. I just want to... I'm just narrating so you can have time to set up, Rich.
Yep.
Classic wood technique. That's why any sponsors should call us today.
Yay.
We have many viewers. That's
Many viewers?
many viewers. I think that's illegally like
chocolatey.
Yeah, it's illegally.
Have chocolatey viewers.
We have many viewers, and here's the deal I'm offering any sponsors. You blindly trust that we're helping you greatly, and you never check. Any victories, you ascribe to us. Any failures, well, those are your own. I think that's a good deal. That's a better deal than what we give them, right?
Yep. I'm good. I'm good on the camera here, I think. But
I'm going to flip you over. If y'all were watching last week, you might remember that Rich is painting with oil paints. So check it out. I know a lot more people are watching after the fact, so that's cool. So
see the veins on the legs there, Robbie?
I love it.
That's Payne's Gray.
That's Payne's Gray. All right, we were just talking about it.
Well, tonight my goal is to put some base coats on the wood and the just the wood and the leather stuff.
Cool. My goal tonight is to get these bikers painted. They're pretty close. I've got to paint the yellow, which is a lot more fun to paint than gold armor details. Bright yellow armor details, way cool. Also, these exhausts, I think I'm going to paint them red, transitioning into bright yellow, like hot rod tip flames.
I
think that would be cool.
I think you're like Casanador is one of the few like washes from GW I still use. So it's a really good wash for yellow.
Okay, I'll pick that one up. I use Reikland Flesh Shade a ton for red.
Yeah.
It really hides mistakes. And you know what I find it does too? Helps with like glazing. Like really.
Yeah. That's what I use Casanador.
Oh, okay.
Casanador does a good job generally for shading. You know, it works really well too, Casador, if you want to do like a quick, like if you're doing like Necromunda and there's like vents that you want to look like they're glowing.
Yeah.
Paint them bright white with an ink or something, and then just hit them with Casanador. and the middle dries like kind of light yellow, and the edges dry bright orange, and it looks really good.
Sounds good to me. I like little tricks like that. I still, I'm using these golden paints, but I still use like various metallics, tool paints essentially. But I'll tell you what, the golden go through the airbrush, great.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because they're so high pigment, you can thin them to nothing, and they still do a great job in terms of coverage. Yeah,
I think really what I would say is if you wanted to have two types of paints, it would be the golden, or heavy body acrylics and inks. Outside of that, I don't think you need anything else. I watched Squidmar had Borja there, who was one of the guys that won Golden Demon last year with that amazing flyer where the wings look like they were like super soft and everything.
Yeah, cool.
And one of the things he does is he takes your basic paints and adds ink to it, and it creates almost a contrast paint.
Oh, okay. Maybe I need
because you take your heavy body acrylics, thin them down, add inks to them, and they kind of create the same effect as your what's the name? As your contrast paints, because the inks will drop into the shadows while the outside the regular paint stays on the tops.
Oh, cool.
And it's thin enough to give you some highlights.
It's really cool.
So if nobody was here last week, what I'm doing right now is putting down an acrylic base that's almost like a sponge that'll absorb the core of whatever the base coat of oils that I put down there.
Right. So to rehash, the paints that Rich is primarily using for this project are oil-based. Oil-based, you cannot eat.
Well, you can.
Sure, one time.
And eventually your life, your art will be worth more value.
And why is that, Rich?
Because you'll be dead.
Because you'll be dead. That's right. That's right. Very good.
Artist stuff goes up in value once they die.
All true. All true.
So Min just changed her major in college. She's doing studio arts.
Wow. Awesome.
So she wants to become a professional miniatures painter.
Hell yeah. Well, I would say she's already there. I mean,
well, but now she's going to have a degree that says that.
Okay, fair enough. I've just seen her work. She's already, she's already got to be in the top 1 percentile of all miniature painters ever.
No.
Come on, Rich. How many miniature painters, all told, and the top 1 percentile? Remember that one kid who glued a penny to his Nurgle thing is in the pool of miniature painters. I want to point this out to you. You ran a game store for like 20 years. You saw most miniature painters. And remember, those are the ones who bothered to come into the store. Imagine the ones who didn't learn about primer, didn't learn about mold lines.
Mm-hmm.
I think top 1 percentile is conservative.
Yeah, what it constitutes what most people need to learn about painting is a lot less than what we know. Significantly less.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this Ultramarines project. Did I explain to you the concept?
No, go ahead.
I'm gonna walk you through the concept. If you joined in early while I was doing sound check, you're gonna have to hear it again. That's your fault. You were listening to sound check. That's nothing to do with me. Anyway, check it out. So, how the firstborn have now all been pretty much replaced. There's no firstborn units basically left in the game except for like a choice few, right? So, what if you did an Ultramarines army done true scale, right? By mixing Horus Heresy kits so that they can be like the size of Marines nowadays with good poses, right? And you just did the theming that it was a 4th edition 40K army that went into the warp to go fight in some tournament and didn't come out until 11th edition. And so now they've been left behind. So I'm going to run them as Chaos Space Marines using the new recently Renegade rules. It's a subset of rules for Chaos Space Marine that do not get access to anything chaosy, but get to run a bunch of really good firstborn Space Marines. So you get to run these little 5-man squads. You can buff it to a 10-man squad. You get a melt-a-gun and a power fist, and then a decent close combat weapon. So these firstborn Marines who are normally terrible, Rich, and have been for years, I believe an army of these guys is going to be better than the current Chaos Space Marine list I'm running. It's going to be a lot of fun, too, because it's going to be all classic Space Marines. Like, all the kits that are probably getting legended. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I've got some Terminators to do next, some Assault Marines to do next, and then I've got to get 30 all told of these. Check out that melt-a-gun. I did like a fade to yellow. Really happy with how these turned out. Really, really like your advice here for people. Here, I'm going to do this in such a way that you can see it. I showed one of these to Rich, and he suggested to undershade it with magenta, which creates violet. And I think it's a much more interesting shadow than simply desaturated, lower value blue, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, really cool. Really happy with it. Here are my guys with the dry brush I was talking about earlier that I started on, and we switched to Rich. Here are my guys. I tried to do the magenta even a little bit more this time around. I just felt like I was a little too subtle.
Yeah. Experiment.
Yeah. Push it as far as I can and then dial back to somewhere that's cool. But I got to know the limits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Limits. So what I'm going to do next, I'll flip it over to Rich, but what I'm going to be working on next is I am going to be painting all of the, like you see this, like, metal edges viewer. This is like trim. I'm going to paint it yellow. And then I'm going to paint their chest plate yellow. And I'm going to paint their shoulder pad lining, that like ridge on their shoulder pad. I'm going to paint that yellow as well. Rich, flipping it to you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm putting some brown Andreas paint around the areas that I plan to paint tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what. I have one correction, but otherwise your camera feed looks great. We can see your head. When you lean down, we can see your head. And it takes up half the screen. There you go. That looks a lot better. If that's comfortable. Otherwise,
it's hard to hold this guy up. He's heavy.
Heavy. Is he made of resin? Is that
yeah,
resin?
He's all resin. He's from a UK company. I bought him a long time ago.
Alrighty. Let's add some brown here.
I think while I'm waiting for the oils to dry, I'll probably base coat the fur too.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to use him as a Beast Slayer giant in my Slayer list. Cool thing, Age of Sigmar or Cities of Sigmar is going to get their own book finally.
Oh, okay.
First army I think I've ever played in Age of Sigmar that actually has its own book.
Wow. I know they're doing a whole new edition, right?
No, not as far as I know.
Oh, I heard they were doing like a reboot of the setting.
That hasn't been announced. I don't know. They're just releasing a new book. Hopefully they follow the 40K rules if they are. And I don't buy this book and it's out of date in a month.
Oh, God. I'm sure it will be.
I mean, there's no GW official announcements people have been talking about. a reboot for many years. So
Well, I think the setting could use it a little bit. It's a cool setting, but I think we're too close to the dramatic origins. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
It feels like, you know, I don't know, like you can call Sigmar on your cell phone and he'll answer. Like it's weird, right?
Yeah. He's not in it anymore, I don't think.
I mean, isn't every Stormcast Eternal essentially a like kept immortal because of it?
Yeah, but he's kind of like the Emperor. He's not really. He doesn't show up at the battle and fight.
Okay, well that's cool. I do think the new Stormcast designs look way better.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of the Stormcast. I'm more a fan of the human army.
To me,
Did you see the new castles they have?
I was gonna say the real home run are the Free Guild.
Yeah. Do you see the castles, the walking castles?
Walking castle, yeah. First of all, come on, is that begging to be an orc kit or what?
Well, actually, what the rules for the castles are is that any army can take them.
Oh, cool.
They're basically titans for this, where almost any army has access to them.
So we will see orc ones.
Oh yeah, for sure. Destruction has its own. Basically, they captured them and can use them. That's the rules. I mean, it's a good way to get some sales of a big model like that.
Sure. I'm sure that never crossed their mind, though.
No. They would never do that.
Those angelic.
They're focused only on keeping hobbyists supplied with models, not about profit at all.
Sinful.
I don't like when gamers get upset. Straw is just trying to make money. Oh, maybe that's because they're a for-profit company. That's their job.
You know, when someone says, like, I don't like that Magic is just like whoring itself out to, you know, I think they're selling, or sure. But when someone's like, why would GW? Why would they release a model and then give it rules that are good? Excuse me? And it's like, okay, relax, buddy. Of course they're good. First of all, from a game design perspective, like as a game designer, I was reading this interview with the Dota designers way back in the day when I liked to play Dota. You know, I'm like in Dota Anonymous. And anyway, back in that day, the designer was like, all right, when you release a new thing, it's really hard to nail the balance right out of the gate. It's probably going to be broken one way or another. Maybe it'll suck. Maybe it'll be too good, right? But if you err on the side of making it too good, that means you'll get more players playing it, which will get you more data about it. And the more data you have about it, the more accurate your fix can be. Richard is turning into the richest thing in the stream. There we go. Because it focuses on the back of your head rather than the giant.
The thing about it is that you know, like with Magic, there's a Pro Tour and there's millions of dollars on the line. If you win a Warhammer tournament, you're gonna get some figures and a trophy.
Yeah, it's
so.
Like,
why would anybody be that concerned about the rules for Warhammer?
well, can I tell you, the Warhammer community, like the competitive community, they pretty much in 2019 en masse rejected big cash prize events.
Yeah. So if there's no big cash prize events, then what's the consequences of a game not being balanced in that case, other than, you know, balancing in the next tournament or whatever? It's if you're there to play competitively, go play Magic. I think is what I would say. Because that's the one that's meant for that sort of environment, whereas Warhammer's not meant for that environment.
I got the ultimate pitch here. There's a little column A, column B. I thought about it a lot. Here's my pitch. Do not play Warhammer if it is just a game to you. It is a bad investment and you will constantly feel ripped off.
Yeah.
If you view the act, here's the way I'll put it. You should be a Warhammer fan if the idea of a new kit coming out, giving you the opportunity to build and paint something new, excites you. Rather than if you think you're going to go, oh, great, they released a new unit, and of course it's good, and now I've got to get one. Warhammer, probably not going to be a fun game for you long term.
That's that one guy, Nick, that you guys used to play with, used to pay people to paint his army so he could compete in tournaments, and it's like, and was very competitive. He really was very competitive, and I didn't understand why he got into Warhammer, because the payoff in the end is not much. Like you said, if you don't enjoy Warhammer, the payoff of playing, collecting an army and building a tournament army is not like Magic. The payoff for Magic is actually a payoff. But Warhammer, it's just, the environment's going to change. You're constantly going to be, the whole idea is to collect miniatures, paint miniatures, enjoy the hobby part of it, and maybe get together with some friends and play some tournaments.
Well, and here's exactly how I play, Rich. This is my thought process. I'm not building an army project. I just own that army now. And when models come out for it, or I want models for it, I build and paint them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I build and paint models I like. When I build an army list, if it has too many models in it that aren't fun to paint in order to make it good for the game, I don't build that army. I just skip. The way I build an army is if I can take one of every unit and still have it be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's way more fun. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's what you want. Mine for a little bit. Well, because I want one bike squad, one tank, one, like that's what fun.
I like theme where you do different army, like
sure,
Cult of Speed or something like that, where it's orcs, a lot of biker orcs or something, or the battle wagon road crew that I used to run,
Oh yeah, I mean that's fun too. I'm just saying, for me, my armies are an excuse to paint things. So when they eventually get nerfed and aren't good anymore, I'm not upset. And also, if you play Warhammer long enough, the way that the game cycle really works is, sure, Centurions get nerfed. You put them on the shelf. But if you play Warhammer as long as I do, someday will come when they're the best thing in the game again.
Yep. As the rules change, update, things like that.
Yep. So, I don't know. I just think I'm picking up an echo on your end.
What's that?
I'm picking your feed.
Echo?
Yeah.
Never had an echo before.
Never had either. What could have changed? Yep. Picking it up right there. Have you changed your mic input?
Nope. It's the same mic that we had last week.
All right, let's see if it's still happening. It doesn't appear to be happening anymore. So we're all good. But yeah. So for me, this army that I'm building, where it's all Midhammer models and everything like that, the thrill of this army is that I'm going to retro paint a bunch of classic kits before they rotate out of the game. Also, GW sneakily hit my wallet, those bastards.
What?
For 1 week, starting tomorrow morning, so I'm going to wake up early to get it. Vostroyans, the metal models. They're sale one last time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to buy 3 of every kit.
Tomorrow they go on sale?
Yep.
We just showed them today.
Yep.
Usually this is 2 weeks before they release. So.
They're going to be on sale until the 25th, but they start tomorrow. But they said, wow, supplies. and scalpers have been very active lately, so sometimes I get worried.
Yeah, I'm glad I pre-ordered the Cities of Ash. That's the new spearhead.
Oh, cool.
It gets me effectively all the new Cities of Sigmar models except for the towers.
Oh, sick. You know who I like? The ogre with the guy on his back.
Yeah, I have him. Did you see the new giants they have?
No.
They have giant gate giants. They're with giant shields, and they're basically like the gate of the fortress when they set up their mobile like fortress.
Ah.
And
If
they're
you-
giants with giant shields.
You take two of them, will one of them only tell lies while one of them only...
I don't know, maybe. Tweedly Dum and Tweedly Dumber.
I can't remember. What's the official way to solve that? You say, what would the other person say you'd say?
Yeah, exactly.
But Rick and Morty does it. I like a better version of it where he just says, hey, did you fuck this guy's wife? And the guy goes, no. And the other guy looks at him and goes, I'll kill you, you son of a bitch. Great bit. Great subversion of that, that game. You know.
I saw an interview with Joe McHale today.
Oh yeah,
talking about community. It's popped up a couple times on my feed. Riker and Data from Next Generation have their own like interview show.
Okay.
And they were talking a lot about like Chevy Chase and how bad he was. And
oh yeah, I've seen that interview.
did you see Joe McHale actually play Chevy Chase in a movie?
Really? What movie?
There was a movie about the guy who wrote and the Caddyshack and some other movies like that.
Okay.
And Joe McHale was playing Chevy Chase in that movie.
That's funny. Well, he knew the man.
Yeah.
There's also a poignant line that kind of foretells that. In the first episode, Pierce says to Jeff, you know, Jeff, you remind me of me when I was a young man. Jeff says, I deserve that. Great guy. Chevy Chase would never know it, but he better get down and thank Dan Harmon that Dan Harmon gave him a charitable character to send off his career.
Yeah.
Or else he just would have faded into obscurity. People knowing him for what? Caddyshack? Vacation,
yeah. I think one of his better movies was Fletch.
That's
Did you ever watch Fletch?
He's a detective, right?
He's a detective, yeah.
Yep, I've seen Fletch.
I was in the movies when I worked at the movie theater, so I saw it a lot. Because it was like that and Cocoon. And
isn't Cocoon the one where Wilford Brimley?
Yeah, they all get randy and get de-aged by aliens.
Yeah.
That might have been a spoiler, sorry.
Spoiler for the movie Cocoon.
If you haven't seen it, I think you've missed the boat.
Because you'll watch it and you'll not appreciate that Wilford Brimley's in old man makeup. You'll watch it and be like, look at all
Wilford Brimley.
Wilford Brimley. He's been old his whole life. He's always been old.
He was pretty old then.
He's like 41 in Cocoon.
Really?
Yeah.
And all the other people in it were old, like actors my parents watched when they were young.
Wilford Brimley was born 1934. Oh, 1934. And then he appeared.
It was 86, so he was 43.
85.
85.
42. Young man. But anyone watching it now will watch it and go, look at old man Wilford Brimley. Old as hell. Always has been, always will be.
One of the worst castings for me of Wilford Brimley was in Remo Williams' The Adventure Begins.
Oh my God.
He was the director of the organization, and when you read the books, The guy's a tall, thin, yellow-faced man who, is like all business suit and business attire.
Okay.
So, like,
Can you
I'm trying to
first
think.
explain who, quote, Remo Williams is?
Remo Williams is the Destroyer series. It's an old series of books. I think there's like 300 of them or something like that. They produced like one a week when they were producing them, and he's a white guy who gets trained by a Korean master assassin from the city of Sinanju. And of course, they couldn't get a Korean.
Cop from Brooklyn. That's his origin story.
Yeah, he was a cop from
I've
Brooklyn.
seen this movie. It's very racist.
Well, because they cast the Korean master using Joel Grey.
Yeah, I've seen this movie with my brother, and we got about an hour in, and I'm like, "This is too racist. I can't. Like, it's too much. It's hard to watch."
You got it. Yeah, I mean the racism. The racism. Sinanju is very prejudiced. So Joel Grey being a racist Korean is really unsettling because it really, is just racist. He's racist himself because he's playing a Korean. But the book series, man, holy cow! The book series. I had a revival of it back in the early 2000s when I used to do conventions because the truck stops used to have audiobooks of the old series. And so me and my buddy who were driving trucks to conventions they had a deal like you could buy them and then you'd get your money back and trade them in for something else.
Okay.
And so we'd go through like on one trip, we'd go through like 4 or 5 of them at a time. And yeah, it was a classic series.
Funny. I have to tell my brother that you brought it up because we've only seen the movie and only thought it was a movie.
That's, oh no, 200 and some books, like I said.
We watched it and we saw like the Korean quote unquote guy, and we were like, huh. And we like looked up the movie. It's a real. You ever watched The Conqueror starring John Wayne?
No. Oh, where he's playing Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
Right? Is that the one? Yeah. Or Kublai Khan. Is he playing Kublai or Genghis?
No, playing Temujin.
Temujin.
Yeah,
that's great.
And the myth, the legend. Yeah, that movie is one of the greatest disasters in regards to nuclear material handling in the history of the world.
Really?
Everyone in those big, gorgeous wide shots with the horses being exposed to deadly levels of radiation.
They film it in the desert by Area 51?
Correct. That's correct, Rich. You got it.
Yeah, in Las Vegas, they have the Atomic Museum. Yeah. So it's really interesting to go look at. And they talk about, like where they were filming movies and stuff.
Oh, crazy.
A lot of the Westerns, period, had that problem.
Yeah, it was apparently a gigantic disaster.
I don't know what the one show I made friends with Mira Furlan from Babylon 5, and I'd really be curious where they filmed that because every actor in that series died prematurely.
I think they filmed somewhere deadly.
Yeah, I mean, cancer, lots of cancers.
Well, Rich, you better not figure that kind of shit out because that kind of uncovering that kind of secret, you'll be next. They'll say you got too close to the films.
Mira passed away 2 years ago, I think it was, from cancer. She was only in her 60s. The doctor, who was like 42, I was the doctor from the series. I was on the treadmill at Dragon Con next to him. He was like a runner and all that.
Really?
Died of an aneurysm. Just passed over dead. Yeah, I think there's very, very, very few people from that series that are still alive. Even the younger ones.
It's in my high school class. That's crazy. Well, stuff happens, Rich.
Yeah, it's just that series seemed to have a certain
Curse.
level of problems. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna flip it back to you, Rich.
Okay.
Remember, Dusty's not coming tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got Terminators to do next. I'm really excited to do like classic Terminators. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Not
old
focusing.
school, but with the new kits, because the new kits are awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got a chance to take a look at the new Terminator kit.
No, that wouldn't be something I'd look at.
Well, it's the Terminator kit, but the proportions are very nice. The posing is very nice.
I've seen the 7 foot tall or 8 foot tall version of them
Oh yeah, where at?
at Gen Con and Adepticon and all the other.
The only big Space Marine I think I've ever seen was at Glen Burnie GW headquarters.
Yeah, you got to go to Warhammer World once. They
Space
got
Marine
a full rhino outside.
They got a full. I've seen the picture of them.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I got to tell you, just putting this color wheel right in front of me makes my life a lot easier. Everything's a pretty simple decision. It's pretty rote once you have the color wheel. You know what I mean?
Yeah. One of the things though that Marco told us about the color wheel is it kind of goes against what a lot of people teach, is that the color wheel is meant to analyze painting, not to actually paint with.
Oh, interesting. How would you elaborate on that?
So, in other words, it was created so that when you look at a great master, you can determine the different, aspects of his painting and describe the painting using the color wheel.
Interesting. Okay.
So that there was basically a language that people could use to describe a painting, not just which very pretty. It was, oh, look, the contrast here and the, this here and
the blend here.
Yeah. One of the things that he was really interesting in his class that Marco had was how to create contrast without necessarily doing the opposite of the color wheel, right? So, like, the standard is red, blue, yellow, for example. The Spider-Man, Captain America,
Sure.
kind of, or Superman. But that gets boring after a while because you're doing that all the time. So you're picking triads, or what he talked about is there's other ways to create contrast. It could be cool and warm colors of the same color can create contrast. Black and white, of course, creates contrast. Using colors that aren't that are different hues of that, different intensities of the same color. So not just immediately going to its opposite or third way around the color wheel to kind of create your to create it, like actually do. All right, I am ready to start some oils. I think now I got some base coats up. Now I have to decide on what colors to use. I think we're going to go with burnt umber and some ochre. We'll add some white. Add some white to make it highlight. Maybe some yellow in there too.
Sick. Oh man. Oh man, what a great week I had.
Oh yeah, what was your week?
Painted every day. Every day. Got some painting in. So that was great. Got a lot of deal stuff squared away. And I just really am excited about this project. And I paint that now. People gave me models for my birthday.
Oh yeah?
Cruel thing to do to a minis painter. It's like This box you bought me is like 30 hours of work.
My paint debt is so massive at this point. Because of my current D&D campaign, and I'm doing all the models for it, and I'm making them and 3D printing them.
Cool, Rich. These browns are starting to look a little gold.
I'll tell you the nice thing, like last Monday or last Sunday night painting, where I got, some of the skins started.
Yeah.
I just jumped back in on Monday and started working in the same spots and kept working for 2 days afterwards.
Right? The paint was ready to roll?
Yeah.
It's sick.
I think tonight all I'm going to end up doing is these leg wraps. I don't think I'm going to get much further than that. But I might do at least put the base on all the browns that I want to work on. Then tomorrow I can start doing the actual highlighting. What I want to do is get all the other giants primed, and that way I can do all the skin, and just work my way down the skin tones.
That's cool. That's fun. Sometimes
when one giant's drying, I can do the next giant skin, and then by the time I get to the last giant, the first giant's done, ready to go to the next stage. Yeah, I think I probably have 3,000 point army. It's only 8 models.
It's so funny.
It's like playing Titans.
We're going to be hosting a Apocalypse game in my garage coming up here to send off to mission. Apocalypse is going to be coming out. We want to try it. It's a new game. It says it uses simplified rules so that you can play larger games. I'm excited to see that. And we're going to play 20,000 points, 10v10.
Remember when we used to do the Apocalypse games in the store where we had it down the whole length of the store?
Oh, yeah. So cool. Trying to recapture some of that old Jester's magic.
And they finally got Basilisk could actually matter because you could actually shoot them 120 inches.
So cool.
And we'd measure from table to table to table until they got to where they were going. The best was when Pat Coyle's big Manta got shot down by a Catachin guardsman from Steve Kershaw.
No! That's a crazy roll.
Penetrating hit. Catastrophic damage. Boom, gone. First round.
I was not here for this event, but Ted told me that one time at the store, one guy brought a Space Wolves Titan.
Nope. It was a Eldar Titan.
Okay, Eldar Titan.
Eldar Titans. It was the championship round of our tournament.
Okay.
And he put it in the middle of his army, so it's Hollow Field would actually protect a bunch of his army, which makes sense. First round of the game, Ted Nagel with his Space Wolf Rhino shoots a Hunter Killer missile. Rolls a 6 for penetration. Only way he can penetrate. Then he fails his Hollow Field save, which was a 2+.
That's so
and
sad.
then rolls on the damage table, on the penetrating hit table, which then is a 6, which then goes to the catastrophic damage table for Titans. And it's Warp Core Blue, which created a 2d6 inch blast radius vortex grenade template. Which in that edition, vortex grenades templates were, if it touches anything, it's dead. The entire middle of the Eldar army disappeared.
Oh my god, that's so fun.
Yeah, because they were all grouped tight. Because it was he was still in his deployment. He didn't get to move even yet. So
that's so funny.
Game over. Ted won the championship.
Serves you right for bringing an Eldar Titan back then.
Yeah, they were the Forge World Titans. We used to
Oh
sell.
yeah, fiendish move. So that was what we call a karmic imbalance being, you know.
Well, I think it was just he was playing Eldar in second edition, which was
Yeah,
only the cheesiest cheese.
that's dramatic.
The cheese players would play Eldar back then.
If you played Eldar back then, you deserve everything that happens.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the idea that every Exarch could have every Exarch power. So if you didn't have if you had a Scorpion Exarch, he could have flying and a Dark Reaper, super cannon.
Well, I'm gonna say the most annoying rule. Do you remember Crystal Targeting Matrix and a little rule called Pop Up?
Oh yeah,
Pop
just
Up.
have jet bikes sit in the back or your
So,
Falcon.
I'll explain to the audience. Back in second edition, this would have been.
No,
right?
I think that was third by then.
You could have pop up, which meant flying things like grav tanks or skimmers. Because remember, back then, Space Marine vehicles did not fly. That is a modern Primaris change.
Well, they had land speeders.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Sure. The Mazda Miata vehicle choices. But yeah, they could pop up, shoot their weapon, drop back down. So they can't be seen, but they get to shoot you. Brutal. And if you had a crystal targeting matrix, which why wouldn't you if you were playing Eldar? You suffered no penalties to hit. It was bullshit. So it meant you could hide your whole army behind the one hill that people would put on the battlefields back then, because people did not own terrain back then. I remember playing at Jesters was always a big win because Jesters had terrain. So instead of using textbooks and shit, like Liam's, we would go there, which for us back then, if you're from New Jersey, this will be an understandable story. I'm from South Jersey, as far south as you can get without getting wet. Okay, literally exit 0 off the parkway. I viewed where Jester's Playhouse was at the time as North Jersey. And it was so outlandish of a drive. We only went once a week, and I would pick up my friends in the south part of Cape May and drive them all up as this big trek. Looking back, now that I live in Arizona, I think Jester's was about 35 minutes away. It's quite humorous.
It was exit 36. You
What's
can
that?
do the math. It's real easy. It was exit 36, so you can do the math. It's really easy.
Yeah, so it was about 36 miles. So thus, about. We would stop at Five Guys, though, so that added length to the trip.
When Five Guys used to be in Summers Point.
Yep, remember? I have a distinct memory one time where I came in with a big brown bag that was like completely soaked in the bottom. And AC looked at me and he said, "That can't be anything other than Five Guys."
Yeah. Now we got Tony B still.
Oh, bro. That was the best burger I've ever had in my life.
My best burger was still Thunder Burger.
Dude. Okay, trade. You can have Thunder Burger. You get Thunder Burger. I get Tony Beef. Tell the move out here. We'll make the swap. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I do go to Thunder Burger quite a lot. They're quite a
Thunder
good.
Burger's great.
Oh yeah.
The chorizo burger is so good.
Oh yeah. I'll tell you the place I've been hitting up lately though. There's a new location of a great restaurant called Tacos Rustico here in town, and fucking incredible. It's the best taco ever. And every time I go there, I think, well, surely everything here is great. But then I order the tacos and eat like 4 of them, and then I'm full. It's funny. Great restaurant. Slowly building up this gold. It's gonna be fun.
Putting his mud on this guy.
Ooh, mud.
Lots of mud. This is where you use your base coat is where you use the most oil paints. because you're putting on a ton of it and then taking a ton off.
Yeah, it's more of a. It's like chiseling, right? Oil paints are more like chiseling.
No, this is a this is soaks into that base coat layer that I did and creates the palette that I'll be working off of
Gotcha.
when I paint this stuff. Debating how much of it to do, but I think I'm just going to try to do it all because I have to wait for the first ones to do 20 minutes, so I might as well just do the rest. And it'll still be usable tomorrow, so it doesn't matter. Definitely need a nice case or something to put your oil paint stuff in because it has to stay pretty much untouched for a week. Could add linseed oil to it to speed it up, but people said not to do that.
Okay, well, good to know. I have linseed oil, but I won't use.
Yeah, because it changes the nature of the oil paints and they don't behave the same way.
Gotcha. There won't be.
That's what I was told. I don't know.
One day, Rich will use linseed oil, and then he'll open his eyes, and a bunch of people will be standing around him as he's taking off a helmet. And they'll be like, "How was the simulation?" And that'll be his way to get out, is using linseed. You ever seen that meme where it's a guy eating the desiccant packet in a pack of beef jerky, and that's what pulls you out of the matrix? Is if you eat.
That's why they don't want you to eat it.
Just do not eat. If you eat it, they'll exit the matrix. You got to think, what are they hiding in there?
Boy, the color saturation on these is so good.
Oh, it looks great, Rich.
I'm hoping maybe next weekend I'll be able to go back and do some work on the skin because the skin right now is still wet, and I don't want to smear. I don't want to break it or anything. So I don't want to paint on top of it right now.
It almost feels like with oils, you should have multiple active projects.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I want to get the rest of the giants done. I got them mostly done, but I need to prime them, and I didn't want to prime them. I want to prime them and let them sit for 2 days with a rattle can. Because the steps are very important in this.
Yeah. Boy.
The tough part is getting used to putting this mud layer down. So it's like literally the mud. It's so you got big chunks of it coming off on you, or big chunks of it sitting on your model. And you literally can't use too much. I mean, you can use too much, but all it's going to do is make it longer to take it off, but it's not going to damage the model or anything. So you're just putting, I don't know if you can see it in camera, but there's literally a texture to it. There's so much of it on there. It's like icing on a cake rather than paint. So I already committed to going to ACD. I have to go to ACD's open house.
Cool.
But then Saturday, I got an invite to this painting class we were on a wait list for. It's 4 days in a castle in Switzerland with
what?
Yeah. I can forward it to you if you want to go. I can't.
You got to go to a castle in Switzerland to learn how to paint better.
It's Mark Masklin's Roman Laputte. I forget who the third, Eric Swinson, maybe, I think it is. Like three of the top,
cool,
multiple, Golden Demon winners, but I got to go to the ACD thing. I can't not do it. Shoot. Next year. We will be going after in mid June, though, to Austria to hang out with Arnold at his mother's house in Tal, which is his hometown. Or Graz, sorry, Graz. It's Graz or Tal? I forget which one's his hometown. I think it's Tal. The pump club is having a meet up there.
Cool. You're gonna go lift?
Yep. Deadlift in the yard where Arnold started deadlifting.
All right. Well, don't show Arnold up too much, all right? They won't like that.
Yeah, well, my goal is to get 350 on the deadlift.
All right. Well, don't
we'll
show
see.
him up too bad.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't deadlift anymore, so.
No.
No, he's only... I have his workout. It's on the app. It's called Rise of the Machines. He does 7 days a week, only machines now.
I don't know. Probably safer.
It's just, yeah, with his heart condition, he can't lift heavy anymore.
Makes sense.
He has a pacemaker now. Because they had to change the valves again that they changed before. He talks about it in his book. And when they did, they messed up and his heart basically stopped. And so they damaged his heart so much that they had to put in a pacemaker.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Scary what can happen to your body just because of a mistake, you know?
Yeah. He didn't sue the doctors or anything. He said, that's what people kept telling him to do. But it's like, then you're not going to have doctors to fix you because if they, they make mistakes, they can't be held accountable. That's what he said. Like you can't punish them because they tried to save your life.
Yeah, exactly. Like people do make mistakes.
And you're dealing with, a very small area and yada, yada, yada. But
Your mistakes
people in the world, litigious people in the world be like, oh my God, they need to pay for the rest of my life. And then all you have left is people doing plastic surgery.
Easily. And aren't they making a killing right now, Reg?
Holy cow! I've been watching. I didn't watch the actual influencers, but I watched stories on the current body modification people that are like trending, I guess. Oh my gosh, the stuff they're doing to their bodies.
Yeah. Just like Cyberpunk predicted.
Yep. I wonder what their essence is left.
I will say this. I was watching this woman's YouTube video about the final boss of being an actor is that your face can't move anymore.
Speaking of Cyberpunk, do you see the Cyberpunk card game?
No. Tell me about it.
$26 million Kickstarter.
Wow, that's pretty big.
Pretty big. It's the biggest Kickstarter ever. Not biggest board game Kickstarter. Biggest Kickstarter ever. What's that?
TCG, LCG, what?
TCG.
TCG, you
but
said.
You're getting 8,000 boosters of the base game if you backed it at the highest tier, which was like $8,000.
Because you want to sell it? That's how they're reaching out to retailers?
I don't know. No, this was customers.
Why would you want that many cards?
I don't know. The thing is, I think, and this is one of the things they probably, because it's a new company as far as I can tell, the thing they didn't realize is all those backers that they need to ship that to, 8,000 booster boxes needs to be...
it's an expensive ship, right?
Well, because you have to, if you're sending it to a residential house, you're going to have to flatbed it. That's like $100 just to get a flatbed truck extra.
I bet you they didn't think about that.
No. That means every one of those is going to extra.
Oh, it's going to be Ogre all over again.
Oh, God, it's going to be worse than Ogre.
All
Ogre lost $5 per This is
All
going
right, tell the ogre story in totality. Explain what ogre is. Tell it.
Well,
This is a game
Steve
industry.
Jackson Games did the Ogre game, which was $100 game, and you know,
Jackson
it was,
Games, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, legendary game industry people. They literally were involved with like Richard Garriott in making like Ultima. I know that at least like 3 of the greatest video game producers of all time worked at Steve Jackson Games at one point or another. If you want one specifically, the maker of Deus Ex worked at Steve Jackson Games.
yeah.
Was
There's the thing is though, you got to be very careful in that there are actually 2 Steve Jacksons. So one of the most famous Steve Jacksons.
Warren Spector was the Steve Jackson at Steve Jackson Games, by the way.
What's that?
Warren Spector was the guy who worked at Steve Jackson Games, who then went on to make Deus Ex.
But the Steve Jackson, there's a Steve Jackson that formed Games Workshop. And,
I didn't know that.
if you look at old GW games, you'll see Steve Jackson was one of the designers. That is not the Steve Jackson of Steve Jackson Games.
Oh, okay, cool. I never knew about that.
So Fighting Fantasy, for example, was created by Steve Jackson, the GW Steve Jackson.
Not our
Yeah.
friend. But anyway, tell the story about Ogre.
Well, they had a great Kickstarter, amazing Kickstarter, but they
What kind
didn't do
of games?
any pricing of the shipping on it. And they never bothered to get a weight on it and everything when they did their Kickstarter. So that when it came in, the game was, I want to say 60 plus pounds.
God.
And
Why? Why was it so big? What kind of game is this?
it was kind of like the Pirates of the Caribbean game.
Oh, okay.
So it used like the plastic card models, I think. Yeah, I could be wrong on that. I don't actually ever own a copy of it. But when they went to ship it, they lost $5 on every game they shipped.
So that meant not only did they not profit on the games, they
They spent money, even though it was one of the largest Kickstarters ever. So, yeah.
That's why you need to hire a professional.
Kickstarter can be the bane of everybody of a company's existence. I have a feeling this might be the first and last Cyberpunk card game.
I was about to say, I am not filled with hope for Cyberpunk's longevity.
Well, one of the problems, I'm friends with some people who used to work for Pokemon Company and all this, and it's one of the problems Lorcana ran into when it came out, is that Pokemon Company and all them, when they do, they buy their card stock that they make their cards with years in advance, almost like almost like the airlines do with fuel.
Yeah.
So they buy it well in advance, which means that, you know, this Cyberpunk card game, if it's going to use Black Core, which is the main element of most card games, then it might take them 2 years to get enough card stock to print it. Like if they start right now, and that means somebody on their team has to actually know how card games work. And again, knowing a lot of card game company people, none of them are working for this company. So that makes me think that they might not know this.
Well, and I'm just going to say this as well. TCGs often do not survive explosive starts. Here's what happens. They have no tail because they have no backlog of products. So their initial burst of their most popularity is the most popular they will ever be. And
think about this, Robbie. If people are getting 8,000 boosters,
that's flooding the market. It's 90s.
What's the secondary market going to be for that game?
Non-existent.
Zero.
Non-existent. It's going to be laughable.
Rares will be going for 10 cents. Commons will be used to hold up couches.
Right. So you might say, well, what's the big deal in that? Well, if the secondary market is cheaper by so much to simply just buy the cards, people will not buy the sealed product. And if no one buys the sealed product, then the game dies.
And what's the incentive of retailers to carry this game?
I know they've already sold their 8,000 packs to the diehard guys. You know, the retailer, it's kind of like I was talking to somebody and I was explaining to them why a LCG in the current ways people run it, I don't think will ever be that appetizing to a store.
It can't be.
Okay, so let's explain what we mean. Rich agrees with me emphatically because we tried. All right. By the way,
it really was dumb that we even tried.
This isn't two guys thinking, oh, what could be. This is two guys who own Game Store. Rich owned one for 20 years, 21 years,
18 years.
18 years. Okay, so we freaking tried, man, with a really good game too. We tried multiple times, a few times with Netrunner, a few times with the Cowboy one, and a few times with
well, not Doomtown. We didn't have Doomtown. That's the
L5R.
L5R was not a collectible or was not a LCG
run of it. That was an LCG and it failed almost immediately.
That L5R failed. We never carried that. That was out after.
Like we didn't carry it because it was an LCG.
Well, no, we weren't open when it came out.
Oh, was
the
that
store closed at that point?
For some reason, I thought there was.
No, it was Cyberpunk, and then there was Arkham Horror.
Oh yeah. I never.
And there was a third one, and I'm not remembering. But
Game of Thrones.
The argument that the owner of the company, Chris, told me was, well, but customers can only have to spend $15 a month. And I said to him, so Chris, what you want me to do as a store owner is talk to my Magic players who spend $1,500 a month and say, you know what? I really don't want you to spend that much. I'd rather you just spend $15 a month at my store because that would make a lot of sense for me to do that. Then the big problem too is long term, a year later, a new player is like, oh, that Cyberpunk game looks really cool. Awesome. Do you have $1,500 to become competitive in it? Because you have to buy every expansion that came out for the past year. Plus all the booster all the box sets that came out, and you need to spend $1,500 to get into it.
And there's one useful card from every pack, and that's it.
But you have to buy them all.
You do have to buy them all, and you have to buy the starter set 3 times for no reason. So here's the problem. I explained it to somebody because they love Netrunner, and I explained to them why it just didn't make sense, and it was very simple math. All right, you get someone in the Netrunner, you buy the starter set, and they get caught up. Sure, you get the initial burst. Great, right? But then what is your subscription kind of model? What is this customer coming back for? The max you can get from a customer, Rich says, is even less than $15 a month. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, Rich, they only did like 2 sets a quarter.
Originally, the original release was supposed to be 1 a month.
Okay. Well, I don't think they kept that up
over probably not
fullness of time. So what that meant is you got $15, but here's the thing. Your local game store, when you buy that card pack for $15, they don't make $15. They make $6. Not even that, actually, when you factor in payroll, lights, and everything like that. So you're clearing like $7 per customer profit, and it's not even really that. And say you have every person who lives in New Jersey playing Netrunner and buying from your store, I still don't think it would have been as much as Magic.
You need 100 players to equal what we would sell in one day in Magic.
Player, yeah.
100 players to equal one Magic player, or for that to do the math, you need 30 Warhammer players. And that's the argument I have with like a lot of my customers who are board game companies. Is like, yes, their stuff will sell. I'm not saying it won't sell, but they want to do organized play kits for a board game. And it's like so you want a store that could run a Magic tournament, have, 30 people show up and make $8,000 potentially. Or you want them to spend that same time running a tournament for your board game and maybe make $80.
Well, and here's the real secret that the pros won't tell you. But me and Rich will let you in on the real secret. Magic isn't great because you sell boxes of Magic as a game store. Magic is great because if you sell boxes of Magic at the game store, you make $5 every $100 box you sell. But then you become a place where people trade in their cards and you sell them for cash. And that is the true reason.
You can take off me for a little bit, Robbie, because I'm waiting for paint dry.
Sounds good. I will paint some metal. All right, folks, check it out. It's starting to look like metal. It's starting to look like something. But yeah, that's the real reason to have Magic. I remember one time, Rich, I don't know if you remember this. Somebody needed some cash. We bought some cards for like, I don't know, not a lot of money, and then we turned around and sold them. Paid rent the next day. Like, that's Magic, baby. Like, whenever I would talk to like the Warhammer players who were upset or something like that, it would be like, hey, these people, they're the reason why there can be lights on for you to play Warhammer.
Yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, all them.
Oh yeah, great. I loved Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh was great.
But I'll say this. I'm going to give my hot take. Are you ready? Universes Beyond. This is me strictly referring to Spider-Man, SpongeBob, Care Bears being inside the Magic universe. And now most Magic cards are characters from other IPs. That's just the case now. For every box of original Magic, there's 4 boxes of Universes Beyond now. And the cards are playable in every format and are very good cards. So you will be playing against SpongeBob, Sonic the Hedgehog, and the Geico Gecko.
What?
No, I don't think they do. I wanted to see if I could say one that would get you to react, Rich.
I won't be surprised if we don't see a Looney Tunes one, though.
Oh, for sure, Rich. And so here's the thing. I get that if the Universes Beyond that comes out is your favorite thing, you're going to buy it and love it, right? When the Warhammer 40K one came out, I bought it, sleeved them all up, and now I have a board game called Magic Commander in the Warhammer setting, you know, where we can just play those pre-sleeved sets, basically.
Yeah, I like the Lord of the Rings, and I like the the Lord of the Rings and the D&D one got me to buy Magic, which I've never bought Magic.
So I get it, but I think every set sells a little bit of goodwill sometimes. You know, I think people get frustrated playing against, you know, Patrick Star forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Magic setting was cool. It was an interesting place. But now that Liliana is literally fighting SpongeBob and man, I don't know how I can take it as, you know, as a serious setting, right? Like,
yeah, he gave up story. He gave up story elements.
Yep. And I know that a lot of people don't think it matters, but I don't think Warhammer's as popular as it is because of the models. I think it has the models it has because of how popular it got. When it had the fugly models, it was still number one, you know? And I think that's because it has a cool world. And I think it literally matters. People say it doesn't. I think it does. What do you think, Rich?
Yep, I agree. I agree that what Warhammer has that no other miniatures game really has, they've tried, they've done some of it, is the setting. Yep. Like, nobody cares about the Conquest setting. Yep. You played Conquest. What's the setting, Robbie?
British guys versus Roman undead. That's what we play.
There's samurai in there.
Oh, there's a samurai, and he's made of paper, wouldn't you know? Why? I don't know. I won't read the rules. Yeah, I agree with you, Rich. Totally agree. I think
Like
the
War Machine came close, but they never had any novels, and they never had any comic books, and they never had any videos.
Nobody played the cool models, so nobody.
Yeah, well, you didn't. The game always discouraged you from playing Jax.
Heavily
The
discouraged.
whole reason why everybody started playing War Machine.
Right. The game is like the game literally, and this wouldn't be so much of a sin. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna read it because it's such a sin.
Page 5 or whatever it is.
War Machine, page 5, PDF. I'm gonna read this, okay? War Machine. Come on. Here we go. Warning, not suitable for wussies, sissies, little girls, Nancy boys, go home. This
Sounds
game,
like Pete Hegseth talking to the journalist.
he's getting ready to run Operation Epic Fury, which is so funny because it has the same initials as Epic Fail and Epstein Files, which I find. If you cry when you lose,
That's funny.
you know Trump smacked him on the back of his head and said, "Did you really go with something with the exact same fucking initials, you drunk fuck?" And he started crying and drank a handle of bourbon.
I like how the director of the FBI, who's denying that he is an alcoholic, made his own bourbon.
Sure. So, War Machine is simple. It's easy to learn. Has no reference charts, heavy arithmetic, and doesn't require constant trips to the rulebook. At the same time, War Machine possesses deep strategy. The ability to unlock combo abilities, spells, and maneuvers is practically limitless. For every perfect use strategy you think there is, there's a foil. For every immovable object, there's an unstoppable force. War Machine favors the aggressor. The first true thing in the thing we've read. You've got to throw the first punch if you land on top. True. Too many players set up to be timid. Gamers drag out with little action because the game favors defensive strategies. I don't know what game they're referring to. I've played a lot of competitive Warhammer. It's not Warhammer. Warhammer favors very aggressive strategies and always has. The point of Warhammer is to fucking leaf blower your army off the table. That is Warhammer's whole point, you know? Not in War Machine. If you want your opponent to come to you, you're going to get steamrolled. You got to have balls to play this game. You got to charge your opponent and hang it all out there. Are we not doing phrasing anymore? You've got to break his formations. You've got to be relentless with your onslaught. You have to go for the jugular and latch on like a rabid dog that hasn't eaten in days. Anything less and you'll be hamburger. You play with power now. Don't be afraid. There's nothing more satisfying than slamming your opponent's warjack into a unit of soldiers and then watching them fall like bowling pins. By the way, useful one time ever in one strategy I had, but it was not using it in the intended way, and I'll elaborate in a second. The only time I've ever thrown anybody with the War Machine rules was my warjack, old Rusty or whatever his name was, throwing my caster over my opponent's battle lines, spending a focus to get back up, and then murder-lading you with my double pistol character for Signar. I can't remember what his name was. But anyway, this is a new era of wargaming, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, let's say what really happened. Rich, what really happens in a game of War Machine?
You move a bunch of little guys around and they kill everything.
Yeah,
and your jacks try to avoid them because they're going to die if they get near them.
If they get touched, jacks will explode like they're made of tinfoil. God.
And your psychers are the only things that, you know, outside of your units that do anything.
Yep. Oh, and your units have a mold line that goes up their shoulder along their segmented armor plating. So you have to clean an L-shaped mold line 800 times. And I have no idea why. This is a true fact. They have used knowledge of the Higgs boson particle to study this. Painting 10 Warhammer Space Marines, 4 hours. Painting 10 War Machine infantry of any type, time dilates like in the movie Interstellar, and it takes days to paint War Machine infantry. I have no idea why.
I know, right?
Like you
I've
can
never
drop,
been able to speed paint any of them.
yeah, like War Machine infantry. I maybe they're like really complicated on like really frustrating details. You know,
I can paint a jack though in an afternoon.
well, don't worry, you'll only be running one. So
Yeah.
that's the other thing. You must run one jack. The way the game works is it has a restriction. You have to run one character, one jack. That's
Nothing that's ever good needs to be required.
exactly. So it's not a good sign that unless you're building like a weird list that will lose at an event, and not even a competitive event, like an event with just like dum-dums who've been playing the same list since the game came out, their 10 Crix infantry will walk through your battle line and then kill your entire army. It doesn't matter what you do. I can promise you that. And Rich, why is Crix so overpowered? Can you explain?
Because one of the lead designers, it's his army.
It's what he plays.
Jason, what the heck is his name? Jason, can't remember his name, but his army was always the emo army that could beat everybody.
It's so funny.
So if you're emo, it's a good game because you can play an emo army and beat everybody.
Everybody up.
To get back at all the people that stuffed you into a locker.
You ever been beat up by the entire JV high school team because you chose to wear your cloak to school?
He hates them.
He hates them. Vampires aren't evil. Football players are. That's a great. We're referring to a ancient sketch. It's the old what is the lion? What does that Christian lion say to that witch? Don't cite the old magic to be witch. I was there when it was written.
Yeah.
It is an ancient pre-YouTube video called Fear of Girls. It's pretty funny. I recommend it. The sequel's not as funny, but it's actually kind of funny in a interesting way.
Sequels, you know.
Yeah, I think it's only interesting or good if you worked at a game store during that time period, because it's basically them going through the stereotypes of like D&D gamer girls from the 90s.
That's the second one, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not really accurate anymore. That character doesn't really exist anymore.
No.
Kind of like, it was only funny back then because we were like, oh, wow, that's really, they nailed it. Those are the 5 people who come into a game store and play D&D. Oh, so there was this is like the trenches of DMing. In my opinion, if you haven't done this as a DM, it's like not having worked at a restaurant. If you never DM'd public, take any comers, D&D encounters on Wednesday nights, you haven't DM'd true D&D, in my opinion.
Remember the one guy who used to play in my D&D encounters? He ended up only playing a wizard because he couldn't figure out what a D20 was.
Okay.
And he realized that if he played a wizard in 4th edition, he could just cast Magic Missile over and over again, and he never had to roll any dice.
I'll be honest with you, remembering 4th edition, he was probably way more helpful than 90% of the other people on his team, because just consistently shooting Magic Missile is way better than trying to do some dumb spell at the wrong time and killing yourself with it.
It was so bad. 5 years he played in D&D encounters. And for 5 years, he still couldn't identify what a D20 was.
Were you ever like, here it is?
Oh, every time he'd have to, because at some point or another in D&D, even if you only play a wizard shooting,
yeah, you're gonna roll.
You have to do it, and we're like, no, it's not. No, that's an 8-sider. No, that's a 10-sider. No, that's no. Oh, that's it. Yep, that's no. Don't put that down. Pick that up. Oh God, it was so frustrating. the person had no ability to create new ideas in their brain, and they were only like 20 something.
Well, get ready for the ChatGPT generation, Rich.
Oof.
I fear for school children.
Well, the solution to school is actually, I think it's actually good. I think ChatGPT is going to change school.
It'll destroy the stupid way of doing school where it's these dumb, like...
No, it'll stop homework. I think homework is one of the worst things that you can do, because what it does is it makes people grow up where they work after they're done working.
I agree, Rich, 100%. I did not give homework when I did my student teaching. I never officially became a high school history teacher. I did student teaching, though, and I never gave homework for that reason. I mean,
With
my
ChatGPT now, the only way to do homework is to have it done in the class.
Yeah, that's a good point. In my opinion, homework is not right. You should be teaching the child to have healthy work-life balance, like you said.
Yep. And that's where ChatGPT actually might save children. Like, if they do it smart and make kids do the work in the classroom, and they don't take any homework home, it will make them have a better overall life, because they're not going to have that feeling like, oh, I didn't get this done today, I have to do this at home.
I'm going to stay home, stay up late.
And the other thing with AI too is that I think the biggest thing with AI is the person who knows how to use AI is going to get a job as compared to the person who doesn't. And it's no different than the person who learned Photoshop in the 90s.
So for me, I think it's the exact opposite. All of my competitors, all of my salespeople using their little chat GPTs to write their emails for them and do customer correspondence.
It hurts them.
It hurts them and makes me look better. So
if you use chat GPT to make spreadsheets for yourself and do other things that free up your time to actually do the calls and follow your pipelines and keep your pipelines full, then you will do better than they will. If they're using it to do their job, that's a different thing.
And I find it explicitly counterproductive and unhelpful.
What's that?
The AI tool I've been given. It's one of the many millions of them. It's not a big deal. They're all going to fail anyway as soon as they no longer have venture capital funding.
Generative AI is done in a year or two.
Oh, well, the problem is everyone keeps comparing it to Uber. And it's like, yeah, but Uber wasn't losing money. They were like,
Uber still loses money.
Oh, no, I mean to say they were capturing a physical market share, which you spend for, and there is no market share to grab here. If you make the best AI model, somebody can just rip it, and now they've made it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not cornering the market on it.
You're not creating anything. You're inventing a technology that everyone will use either in really specific circumstances. I think generative AI will probably find a home in, like, I've heard there's some medical applications for, but I think it will be too expensive to use for a lot of the more heavy lifting purposes than what people will be willing to pay.
Yes.
Is what I think. I think a lot of people will say that's a little too expensive. Like, I have heard that statistically, a large percentage of companies have used their entire year's AI spend budget by end of Q1. So what was meant to save them money is now costing them more than what it was supposed to have saved without an efficiency increase. Mm-hmm. So what I think is happening right now is essentially the walls of programs are being flooded with digital asbestos, and people are regressing in their skills on how to actually program. And because these AI models learn how to program from reading human code, no AI model has ever been able to improve even a little bit using AI code. Okay.
Right, they'll be feeding off themselves.
They will feed off of themselves. Model collapse will occur. They'll they'll reset the AI to an earlier version that's consumed even less data, and model collapse will be fought off little by little. They are trying desperately to feed it as much data as possible. But the problem is the big data spike we could feed it. It's already happened. All of human history has been fed into it. And it took us about 10,000 years to make all of it. So
Yeah,
it's
we're
hard.
not gonna make more.
We're not creating any more Renaissance paintings to feed into these machines. They've already eaten all of them, Rich.
Yeah.
They can't get better. They are at the height of their power 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I bet you when all is said and done, AI is a couple of $1 billion industry a year, but it is used by incredibly niche task fillers.
I heard a good stat. Facebook for the first time lost more users than it gained.
Oh, I believe it. Who
That's
uses
amazing.
Facebook?
Look at the metaverse. Like what a bad investment that was.
Well, and it sucks too. It's a VR environment where you don't have legs.
Yeah.
It cost trillions of dollars and they didn't animate legs, Rich.
Well, that's because they didn't want to have the liability of people walking into furniture.
Oh, God. Gotcha. They were thinking of for everyone's shins.
They didn't want to have people run into the furniture and then get sued because they damaged their TV.
Well, and I'll say this too, for any AI,
We're not going to have Ready Player One anymore, I don't think.
well, I'm just going to add this for all the AI believers out there. No one has ever been able to explain to me how to beat model collapse without inventing a hitherto unknown technology that solves that problem.
It sounds like reanimation from being frozen.
Yeah, the problem is, Rich, how do we feed it data? We've already fed the machines all data that exists pretty much. That's useful. Like beautiful paintings, photographs to teach it composition, shit like that. Now it's all just feeding on itself, and it's an Ouroboros that creates an infinite number of shrimp Jesuses, which if you haven't seen, I recommend you Google. Rich, you want to show what you painted?
Yeah, I didn't really get far. I just got base coats on everything, but
Well, I'll tell you what, it's very impressive. It looks from where you started last week. Everybody go back and watch last week's video. You can kind of see where Rich started. Kind of click through it a little bit, and I think you'll see.
I really only worked these two Sunday and a little bit of Monday.
Yeah,
so
it is looking great though, Rich. Very cool.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm at the point where I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm learning now.
Well, that's the fun part.
Because we never put anything on top of the original one. We just did the original one, and that was it.
Check these out, Rich. I've been slowly working on the yellow. Kind of treating it like the cylinder idea you were telling me.
Yeah.
Where I leave little creases and spaces in between. You going to be here next week, Rich?
I will be. I think I'm here every. I think until I go to Austria.
Cool.
Which is mid-June. So, all right, buddy. Have a good night. Keep up the good work.
All right, later, man. You too. Bye-bye.
See ya.